So episode 3 of Planet Earth 3 features deserts and grasslands. So basically anywhere there isn't a lot of trees or water. Now this episode opens up with a very kind of haunting clip of a desert canyon with camels in the background. It's quite good. It was a really good way to open the episode. I thought it was a pretty good way to set the scene. And from there we move on to ostriches, which we see in the Namib Desert. We see a male and a female nesting, and some chicks have hatched, and the male has to basically sit and wait for the rest of the eggs to hatch. It's really good seeing them at night. There's this really cool standoff between the ostrich and the jackal, which is almost comedic in the way it ends, because the jackal just stares out for a bit and then just leaves. The next day we see the ostriches leaving, and they have one chick which is yet to hatch, and it hatches, and then that chick is then left like try to find them, and it's a very good sequence. It's very like tense. You really want that chick to find its dad again, and sure enough the parents find it. But it was a really good scene and a really good way to open the episode. And from there the desert stuff isn't like as amazing as you'd kind of hope. The bowerbirds, I felt like I'd seen that a few times before, and the baboons were fine, but it wasn't like, I wasn't like on the edge of my seat or anything like the ostriches, and the ostriches were definitely the best part of the desert part of the episode, I think. From there, though, we move on to the grasslands, and that's where the episode gets a lot better, I think. The leopard sequence was amazing. The leopards we see hunt from the trees, like they hide in the tree and they will jump down and catch the impala, and it was really good. At first it looked like it wasn't going to catch anything. Sure enough, we see the leopard go back up the tree, like to a height which could probably kill it if it just fell out or landed in the wrong way, and sure enough it caught the impala. It was a really good sequence. I think a pretty easy highlight of the episode for me, I think. And from there we move on to the steppe, which is where we see Saiga, the antelope. Now we've seen Saiga a couple of times before, I think in Planet Earth 2, I think they were in. But they were really cool. The big male we see has a nose that looks like a scrotum, but we see two male Saiga fighting, and it's pretty good. I think anytime you see an animal you don't normally see doing something, even if it's just stuff we see like all the time, like fighting, still pretty cool. I thought it was a really good sequence. Then we see the maned wolves. Now, maned wolves are an animal I know, like I know what they are, I know what they look like. I have never seen them really in any of these programs before, I don't think. And to be honest, I didn't really know that much about them. I didn't know they were like mostly vegetarian. I had no clue they had like a role of a gardener like an elephant would have in its environment. So that was really interesting. And the fact that they only really see their pups for a very brief period of time in the day. The last main bit is the bit with the elephants. It basically is just talking about how the elephants were almost wiped out in this part of Africa. I can't remember the name. Feel free to comment below if you remember it. But we see that they've recovered, and it's like this massive herd. Now, I found it interesting because they talk about how the males... Bonfire night. They see the male elephants in amongst the females, and you don't really see that very often. I don't think males really travel with the females a lot. It's usually the females in the herd. But it was interesting, and they seen the guy who's like, saying how the elephants have forgiven them. I don't know about that, but it's like pretty much next to the elephants, and I was kind of like, do you really want to be there, mate? I mean, elephants are pretty scary up close. And the fact that he's like touching its tusks and everything, I thought, whoa. But it's interesting to think here, because elephants are really intelligent animals, and the chances are they probably can recognise individual people if they spend enough time with them, just like humans can recognise individual elephants. So I thought that was interesting. The after credits, once again, is more about environmental impact. We do see a bit of them filming the maned wolves, and it's quite interesting, but the fact that there's like a maned wolf mother that was dead, and they saved the pubs, and they saved the pubs. And the bit when they were filming amongst the fire was really good. They were talking about how they just wanted to get out of there, but at the same time, that's exactly what the wolves would have been like. It was quite effective. I felt like they were in the position of the animal that they were filming. I thought that was really good. Overall, this episode is probably the weakest of the three that have been released. The grassland stuff was definitely better than the deserts, although I did like the ostriches a lot. The highlight was still the leopards. But yeah, I liked the main wolf, and the Saiga's impressive nose was always something to see. So yeah, it was still alright, still pretty good. So yeah, next week's about freshwater, that should be alright. And yeah, if you like this video, then feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you want to, or if you don't, then obviously you have that option as well. But yeah, if you did like the episode, what did you like about it? Were your highlights similar to mine? Did you think that I was completely wrong? Let me know. And yeah, hopefully tune in next week for more Planet Earth 3 stuff.